say never buy the first boat that you see. We kind of did.
I'm standing on the bow of our brand new boat that we've just bought. She's going to be called Boomerang. And we're just having a chat with our engineer right now, who's going to fit the boat out for us so that she can sail around the world.
So what essentially you get by going with the expensive davits is a free solar panel array.
Yeah, so that's going to be a bit of a lengthy process. They've got about 5 months to do it before we set sail. But yeah, isn't she a beauty?
That moment marked a major change in our lives.
Yep, there was no going back after that. 3 months earlier, we'd sold the house, packed up everything that we owned and sent it back to Australia. Except the car, actually. We held on to the car because we wanted to do a 2-month road trip around Europe, just to get used to our nomadic lifestyle. Gunning it. Don't be stupid.
We may have overindulged on the continent. So after that overindulgence, it was off to India for a well-earned detox.
So this is what we wake up to every morning.
That music.
This is a glass of hot water, a cup of hot water, and that music is our alarm. Then after this we get a mud pack, then we get an enema, and then we get, we have to drink salt water and purge it, and then we have water poured up our noses.
They have a very sharp needle poked in our eyes.
It's fabulous.
This is the sight of a Scotsman trying to keep everything in.
What do you mean, everything?
Well, we've just had our second colon cleanse of the day, and the cleansing liquid is still in situ. And we're trying to keep it in situ for as long as possible before the dam bursts, really.
Really?
Round one.
That's good. You've got to be kidding me. I have to go yet. Oh no. I could get stuck here. Oh dear God. So about an hour ago, JP walked through that door for a massage and steam. There's been some pretty odd sounds coming out from behind there, and also a smell that it's really actually hard to describe. I'm not sure I have words for it. It's like burning dirty socks or something. But let's see. There's a little gap in the door here. Let's go and see if we can see him.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein did not have anything on this. It was pretty brutal, but it was probably the cabbage we needed before we went back to Australia to begin our life following the sun.
I've seen the sunrise getting high. Wish I was.
We've been out the car twice and we've seen 3 snakes.
So coming down is so wide. Stumble for your clothes.
Well, we're in Oz for 6 months before we headed back to the UK to pick up the boat, oversee the fit out and begin what we knew was going to be a pretty steep learning curve.
Although we had our qualifications, we actually knew very little about what made a boat work. So as a result of that, and probably quite sensibly, we hired 2 experts.
Genius number 1 was Toby Haig from Keto Engineering. Not so keen on heights, the old Tobster.
I hate this. This is horrible. I wouldn't do it for anyone else, Kelly.
I love you, Toby.
Genius number 2 was George Gerdes, yacht master. And together with Toby, these 2 guys would come up with a whole list of extras that we would need to have in the boat, not least of which a massive stainless steel structure on the back of the boat, which would carry the solar panels.
We also came up with our own long list of things to do, not just things that needed to be put on the boat, but also to find out how all this stuff actually worked. And it probably took us a good month to work through it all.
So we have Paul up the mast, putting in the courtesy flag halyards, rather him than me. However, good old Killjoy, she will be doing it eventually, so pay attention, darling, because that's going to be you little grease monkey that you are.
The last job, very important one, was to make sure that Boomerang actually knew which way she was going.
So the boat's going round in circles. You might ask, why is the boat going round in circles? Well, the boat's going round in circles because we're getting the compasses swung. And the boat has to go north, south, east and west with a handheld compass and the boat's compass. And they have to line up so that we know that everything is accurate. So whilst we're up here getting dizzy and sick, going in circles, they're fixing the boat's compasses. With the compass swung, we were done. Boomerang was ready to set sail.
So on our maiden voyage, we've lasted for an entire 6.5 hours before disaster has struck. We've run over a huge rope, looks like something from a ship, and it's got stuck around our sail drive, our propeller. So we've got a curry cooking while we wait, and then we're basically going back to base.